Kolovinaka, Fiji, and welcome to another episode of Speak Your Mind. To our listeners on Gold FM, welcome. To our viewers on FBC TV, also big welcome to you. This morning, or this afternoon, we will be talking about the biggest thing that's been happening, and that's, of course, the naming of the 2013 Vodafone Fiji Mbati team to the World Cup in England. I'm privileged to have with us the manager of the Fiji Mbati team, Mesake Navungona. Mesake, welcome to the show. And, of course, to the next big thing, I could say, in rugby league, Tikiko Noke. Congratulations on your selection. Guys, welcome to the show. Let's start with you, Mesake. Big game on Saturday night. How's it been like in camp since that game, the Battle of the Mbati?
It's been a very positive aspect for us in regards to the whole game when we look at it. The players from overseas really enjoyed it, and in regards to the crowds and the number of people that were there, and the support from the local boys. In regards to the preparation for the World Cup, after that match, we've selected the 24, and now we're just going through the preparation phase and getting the bookworks and everything done at the moment.
If you're listening in from home or from the office, if you want to make a comment, if you want to congratulate the boys, if you have any questions, you can call us up 3220-906 or 3220-907. You can also flick us an email, goldfm@fbc.com.fj. Stick around, because if you missed the naming on Saturday night, we have the team lineup for you coming up in just a bit. Tikiko, like I said earlier, congratulations. How does it feel like knowing that you will be representing Fiji to the Rugby League World Cup?
Like I've said earlier to the media, it's a dream come true. For me, everyone knows that I've been with, they know that the Rugby League World Cup has always been on my mind ever since 2008. And with the guidance of Mesake Navungona, my parents, I've been able to make it through. And I thank God for what He has done for me and for what He has done for being with me throughout.
If you were watching the live telecast on Saturday night, you would have noticed in the build-up, we spoke to a few players and to management as well. We spoke to Tikiko, and what you mentioned was more like a warning. You said, if they see me as a rookie, then they better not. And you did show them. You did bring your game on Saturday night.
Yeah, I did, and everything that I did was not by my strength, it was through God. And with the guidance of Mesake Navungona and the other people that have been guiding me, Sonny Blake, Joe Rambele, I wouldn't have made it out this far. And for me, everything, it's all through God.
Mesake, two local based players were forced their way into the team that was chosen on Saturday night. What type of a Fiji Mbati outfit do we have leading into this World Cup?
Come again, Harold.
What do you have to say about the team that's been selected? Is this the best that we could have selected?
Well, unfortunately, a few of the NR players like Lotte Tunkiri have to opt out to go to the UK. But I think with the selection that the selectors have, with the players that they selected, I think they're up there for the job.
We've had so much talk about the lead up to the Battle of the Mbati on Saturday night, that once the team gets selected and once we head into the World Cup next month, we're not there to make up the numbers, we are there to bring the cup back. Is this possible with the team that we have?
Yes, with Fiji Mbati, nothing is impossible. They have the pool of players that can take them through to the quarterfinals and to the semifinals. With the group of players that we have now, I think one of the biggest hurdle that we have is trying to get them in the country and get them blend together as soon as possible. And once the Fiji team blends, nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. Like I said earlier, if you did miss out on the selection, let me just run through it very quickly. We have Sisawanga, Wes Nangama, who is the vice captain. We have Kevin Nangama, Daryl Millard, Marika Koroimbete, Semirandrandra, Ilisavani Chengesa, he's also the other local boy apart from Tikiko who got selected, Aaron Groom, Apisai Koroisau, James Tora, Alipate Tani, Kaliova Tani, Tarek Sims, Corbin Sims, Ashton Sims. The captain is, of course, Petero Divonideva, Kane Evans, Jason Bukuya, Vitale Rongida, Tikiko Noke, and Eloni Vunakede. Looking at these players, I understand there's also the doors still open for 3 overseas-based players.
Yes. Yes, it's not only for overseas boys players, it's all for all those players that attended the trials. And with those are the three names there to be confirmed later on after the selection of the Australian team.
And these are Jared Hayne, Akuluwate, and John Sutton.
Yes.
Well, with the way that they've been playing lately in the NRL, they stand a very good chance, don't you think?
Yes, they have. They have a good chance, but it depends on the selection. And if they are not there, then the local boys and the overseas players are there to replace them.
Okay, you've also mentioned, you've always mentioned that the local boys got heart. What do you think going into the World Cup?
Yes, I think going to the World Cup will do good. I will be there and I will showcase our talent, things that how we were developed here in Fiji, and going to the World Cup will just bring Fiji to the World Cup. What we have learned here, and we'll put it out once we play at the World Cup in England.
World Cup in England, the tournament starts on the 14th. Fiji is in the same pool as Ireland, Australia, and England. That's not an easy pool, Mesaki.
Exactly. That's not an easy pool. So we're taking one game at a time. So Ireland is our biggest obstacle. If we don't win against Ireland, then there's no point going through the tournament. So at the moment, our priority is Ireland. So the preparation is focused on the Ireland game.
And looking at Fiji's performance in the last World Cup, we were the surprise package, and a lot of people will be more weary of the Mbati team in the 2013 World Cup. Do you think we have what it takes to go there and actually do the damage?
Yes, if you can look at the players, there's a seasoned and some veteran players there who have played a lot of NRL games, and I think that experience is gonna go down with the boys, with the rest of the boys, and they will perform well.
If you have any questions, or if you want to have any, give us any comments on the Mbati team that's been selected, call us up 3220-906, 3220-907. We'll head into a short break, and when we return, we'll talk more on the Fiji Mbati team to the World Cup in England. Pulavinaka, and welcome back to Speak Your Mind. Today we're talking rugby league. The team has been selected on Saturday night after a grueling match between the Fiji residents, and of course the overseas-based Fijians. We've selected the team. The captain has been named Petero Divunideva, and today we're here with the manager, Mesaki Navungwana, and of course Tikiko Noke, 19-year-old, who was also chosen as one of the local boys to make it through to the rugby league in 2013. We were talking earlier about the selection of the players, Mesaki. It was quite interesting to see the selection process that was mapped out. We had local trials, and then we had overseas trials leading up to the Battle of the Mbati, which was the climax last Saturday. Can you elaborate more on how this decision came about and how the players were selected?
Actually, we've already decided that the selection process for this Rugby League World Cup should be given to the players, that given the equal opportunity to players abroad and overseas and in the locals, given them the opportunity to represent the country. We had the Quad Series in Australia, made up of 4 teams: the Queensland Fijians, the New South Wales Country Fijians, the Sydney Fijians, and the New Zealand Fijians, where they selected the best 17. We had our local players, and looking at it, it was really a very transparent way of getting the selection done.
And are you happy with how the whole thing panned out?
Yes, looking at the team with the selectors, I think they were pretty satisfied with whatever the selection has come up. The selectors have come up with.
I notice it's dominated by overseas-based players. Could it have been any different, or was this the best team that we could have selected? Looking at the performances by the boys on Saturday night, and it was indeed a very good performance by the Fiji residents, local boys.
I think the selectors had their panel of selectors, that they had their criteria for selecting the team. With whatever names that have come up, I think they've made up the decision that this is the best team to take the name of Fiji to the World Cup and probably make us proud.
Speaking about making us proud, Tikiko, when you heard your name announced on Saturday, how did it make you feel? How did your family find it?
Uh, they were really speechless. It was really a proud moment for me and for everyone in my neighborhood back in Lotoka, and especially for my club. Yeah, it was a really proud moment for them.
Tell Fiji, for those who are still not aware, which club you played for.
I used to played for the Islands Electric Lotoka Crushers. That's where I got developed. All my life I've been playing for Lotoka Crushers. This year I had a move to from Lotoka to Suva because of training in Suva, and I was grateful that my previous club was so kind to release me to come to join the Makoi Bulldogs team, which we reached the semifinals this year against the Sambeta Roosters.
And just give us a bit. We were jumping back and forth from overseas back to Tikiko, but Tikiko, just tell us a bit about your background, growing up. In the lead up to what could be the biggest day of your life, which was on Saturday. Give us a bit about background about yourself.
I come from a family of 10. I've got 7 siblings, and I'm from Lomnikoro in Rewa. My mom is from Nandi in Nakavu. Yeah, my life is a struggle. We didn't have that much, and for me, rugby was the only thing I knew I can pursue on. So I had to leave school last year. I was schooling in Lotoka Central last year, captained the side that won the under 18 grade in the Rugby League secondary school competition. We reached the quarterfinals in the Dean's competition against Arceus, and also the Islands Electric Lotoka Crushers team. We won the Vodafone under 18 competition last year. And yeah, all my life rugby league has been the thing that is on my mind. Never done anything else but rugby league.
So for you, it was more like it's now or never situation when it came to Saturday night.
Yeah, it was being in the when I was in the changing room, all I can think about was how I was raised up, how I saw everything was there. It was just the last day for me, and that was like on Thursday night was the night I had to showcase my talent and whatever I've been learning for the past 18 years. Starting of my rugby league career, I had to put it on show on Thursday night, and I was so lucky to be named as one of the 24-member squad that is going to England.
It's good you mentioned Thursday night because I kept saying Saturday night. I kept thinking the game was on Saturday. The game was on Thursday. The classic example of determination and hard work, something that something that we'll need going into the 2013 World Cup with teams like Ireland, England, and Australia.
Yes, I think so. The experience is there with the caliber of players that we have. Just to get them together to work as a unit, as a team. When we're united as a team and get them together in this few weeks of preparation, as I've said, for the Fijian team, they proved it in 2013. They can prove it again. In 2008, yeah. They can prove it again this year.
We're talking here to Tikiko Noke. The other player, the local player that was chosen was Ilisavani Chengesa. But then looking at the whole team, like you kept saying, if they manage to come together as one team and play as a team, we're looking at a very, very good Fiji Mbati team with the likes of Captain Petero Divunideva, Nangama boys, Sims. Well, going into the World Cup, we've said it already that we're going to get the cup back. In the lead up to the our first game against Ireland, what will be told to the boys? Going against Ireland.
I think with Rick Stones, whatever is going through with the boys is, as I've said, is trying to get them as quickly as possible together. They are players from Queensland, like Petero and the Sims brothers. They were supposed to just fly from Queensland to Nausori. But now we're trying to get them from Brisbane to Sydney and all the overseas players come together. So that's what the priority for Rick Stone is, to get them as a unit. And with those experienced players, it will trickle down to other players, and everybody will just take the cue from them. They've been there, the experience has been tremendous for their own career, and yeah, it's going to be very exciting to watch the first game against Ireland.
Talking about time, do we have enough time to allow this to happen? I mean, if you look at, we were doing a bit of research and we saw that Tonga's got the team together. They actually planning on some European warm-up matches. Well, what about Fiji? Do we have something like this planned?
Yes, I think we have ample time. We have got them on the Fiji leg preparation from the 7th, and we are leaving early to the UK on the 14th to have another pre-camp before the match against Ireland. So we are there earlier. So that's where the coach is trying to get them together for this, because most of the players are from overseas, and they know each other well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mesake. Mesake Navungona and Tikiko Noke on Speak Your Mind today. We're talking Rugby League. World Cup is in England. Team has been named. We'll go into a short break. When we come back, we'll speak more on Rugby League. Bulavinaka, if you've just joined us, you're on Speak Your Mind. The topic today is Rugby League. Like I said before, we've named the team. There's a few more, I think 3 more spots to be confirmed, but the final preparations are now underway. The team travels to Europe on the 14th. The first game is against Ireland on the 28th. Now, moving on, as I was talking to you earlier about the preparations towards the first game, I mentioned that Tonga had already selected the team. They're preparing for some warm-up matches. Can you just elaborate more? We were talking about this before we went into the break about Fiji's preparations to game day.
We have 7 days here in Fiji, and we have another 4 days in the UK. So we are traveling earlier than what was expected for us to travel on, and that's where the head coach is trying to get them to blend together as a team. We have a Back to Our Roots program where the boys are going to Seru Island to actually divide into 3 groups. One group goes out and fish, one goes out and uproot cassava, and the other group does lovo. That's a program that we
Interesting. Is this the first time?
They did it in the last World Cup at Lulovia, and we are just trying to do that again here. And yes, and after that, that's where the boys are introduced and shown their roots. What is Fiji all about?
I'm sure for some of them it might be totally new. I mean, who's been living overseas all their lives?
Yes, for the last World Cup, it was very good to see James Torre, with tears on his eyes, looking at the struggles that the kids have to go through to walk to school in Moturiki and come back, and with whatever little they have. And for them, he said that for them in Australia, they take life for granted, and to see the struggle.
It could have worked in favor in the way of motivation as well, huh?
Exactly. And that's what we have put in the program, just to let the overseas players know what Fiji is all about.
True. And I'm sure, Tikiko, you know all what Fiji is all about already. From a player's point of view, we're talking management, we're talking preparations, this and that. What's being said since the naming? What's the atmosphere like amongst the players themselves?
Well, for the boys, it's all just thinking about what to do, getting us together, and we've just for us, there's 8 of us in camp right now, trying to bond with each other, with Maire Korimbete, Simiran Randra, the Tani brothers, and Tangele with Il Saban Singesa. We're all up there and trying to bond with each other. And everything is all about the World Cup, and like you said, trying to bring the cup home.
We were talking to you and how your experiences after being named. What did you manage to speak to Chengesa, and what was his reaction like after being named?
Well, he was he was also speechless. He didn't know what to say. all we could say is, it's through God. All the struggle that both of us have been going through. Watching us during the Vodafone Cup competition this year, he had an injury which could have cost him his game. And he was so lucky to be back with the resident boys, the resident team, and playing with us again with Battle of the Mbati.
Pretty rough game, huh?
Yes, very rough game. Going both sides, since both teams, all players wanting to be part of the World Cup squad. Yeah, everyone was giving their best.
Yeah, well, let's just for those of you at home at work, if you wanna call us up and ask either Mesake or Tikiko any questions, or if you wanna congratulate the team, call us up 3220-906 or 3220-907. Now let's switch back to management. It's quite interesting, Mesake, to see that FNRL, the limited resources that you have, and then we hear that players were accommodated at FNRL House. What do you have to say about the resources that you have or that's been made available to you?
If you look back at the show that they have with Fiji One, Rise With Us, it goes back and it shows the struggle Fiji National Rugby League has gone through over the years, and how the sports has grown in the country is because of the struggle that we have gone through. We have very little, but we make use of whatever little we have to make sure the game grows. And most of the officials that are there and those board members, they get less, but it all comes from everyone has that passion, and I believe it's the passion for the game, regardless of the resources, that's making the game grow in the country.
As opposed to union, which accommodates the players in hotels, it's noticed. Not to take anything away from union players, they do their best, but it somehow it's the case. It's been proven that with the limited resources that you had, we've made the semi-finals in 2008, and then we have another team that's looking like to even reach the finals in 2010. What does this say? Does it come down to attitude of the players? What do you think?
I think so. It comes down to the attitude of the players. It's what they have, and they know what we have, and they build from whatever little we have, and they build from scratch and try to make something out of nothing. And I think it has proven over the years, and for the sports to grow in the country, it's because of the time and the effort the volunteers and the people involved in rugby league has put in to see that the sport grow. Most of them are volunteers. It all comes back to that passion and knowing that through this sport we can develop the lives of our youths in the country.
And I think you might agree that rugby league is no longer a minor sport in Fiji. It shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying.
Huh? I think so.
I mean, we've reached the semi-finals in 2008. Everybody's looking forward to 2013. I reckon it's time that we scrapped it and said, rugby league in Fiji is as big as what it should be. Well, not what it should be, but it's growing.
I've seen the game on Thursday. The crowd and the people who support the game. Yes, I think, as you said, it should be recognized now.
It should be.
That we are going through the development through the grassroots and through the villages. I think after this World Cup, rugby league should be recognized in the country as probably the second sport after rugby union.
Tikiko, we're talking about rugby league and how it's recognized in Fiji. Being a player yourself, being named for the first time in the Fiji Mbati squad, from your school days up until now, how has it been, and what do you have to say from a player's point of view in the sacrifices that you've had to make to be able to make the Mbati squad? I mean, do you think there's enough development from grassroots level going into professional level?
Yeah, there's enough development. For me, if you want to ask someone, you can ask Mesake Navungona about me. He knows everything about me. He's been there, so he knows.
So we can say that you're a classic example of the development that rugby league is doing in our grassroots.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll talk about that more when we return from this very short break. Pulavinaka listeners on Gold FM and of course our viewers on FBC TV, welcome back. You're on Speak Your Mind. Like I said, Speak Your Mind is every week on Monday live on Gold FM, and the replay happens on Tuesday nights of course FBC TV. We were talking about development at grassroots level, Mesake. Like I said, Tikiko and maybe Chengesa would be classic examples of development that Rugby League has been doing from the grassroots level.
Yes. If you look at a few years back, they had only 12 clubs throughout all over the country. Now we have 48 clubs, and we have gone to secondary schools. And now we're at the end of the year in December, we're introducing the mini rugby league to our primary schools. Mm-hmm. So yes, the development rugby league has been doing is it's actually supporting the youths of the country from a very early age. Tikiko is an example here. He came through from under 9s from the Lotoka Crushers Rugby League Club right to the Fiji Bati, right to the World Cup. So that shows the development work that Rugby League has been doing. And it's also the same case for Chengesa. He plays for Nambour Broncos from the lower grades right to the team to the World Cup.
I guess Nambour Broncos could have been much more proud of him, making the team.
Yes, exactly. It's a 4-year thing. It happens. The World Cup happens after every 4 years, and to be in that team for the boys, that is a big achievement.
It was also good to notice. I may be wrong, but we had overseas-based reps even calling FNRL up and saying, we are available to represent Fiji.
Yes,
that's not something we don't normally see.
Actually, we had the Sims brothers, Tariq Sims, Aston. The eldest one played in the 2008. But it's Tariq and Corbin putting their hands up. And the likes of Semiran Randra. He went to play from Rugby Union. He went to play for Parramatta. Yes, during the first get-together in Mount Pritchard in Sydney, there were about 32 players. And out of the 32 players, 8 were NRL players that put their hands up to play for Fiji.
We were talking about the resources that you have. I understand, I think sometime today, the Sports Commission has given a little close to $589,000.
Yes. Just this morning, we've been issued a check of $589,387 to support us in our preparation for the World Cup.
What about from other stakeholders? Have you received any other support?
We received $620,000 on Thursday from Vodafone.
So it's been coming?
It's been coming to support the team.
Could have been better?
Yes, could have been better.
Okay, you know what? In England, we're pooled with Ireland, as mentioned so many times before. England, Australia, and Ireland. Our first game is against Ireland. Our last game is against England. Now, for the overseas-based players, they've done this before, For boys like Tikiko and Chengesa, how do you prepare them? I mean, going into the team. I know you have a lot of experienced boys there.
Well, as manager, I've actually divided the team into 3 groups: the high profile, the semi-profile, and the low profile. So they'll be in a room or together in a group. There will be a high profile player, a semi-profile player, and a low profile player, where they can all blend together and share the experiences that they have. So it's not putting just the low-profile players in one room and let them know. We have like Petro, so there'll be Petro. There'll be another player like Ken Evans, and we'll have Tikiko, Chengesa in the room with them. So in that way, they share the experience and they talk a lot with each other and bond as a team.
In 2008, we had about 16, 17. It was mostly dominated by locals. Yeah? This year, we got 2 local boys. Well, can you tell us why the big difference?
I think so. The difference is we have a different coach. Last World Cup we had a local coach, but this year we have Rick Stone, who's the assistant coach for Newcastle. I think so that probably made the difference in the selection of the team.
All right. And Tikiko, I'm going to keep coming back to you. From what Mesaki has just mentioned about putting you in different groups, has that helped you? I mean, do you think it will help you?
Yes, I will.
Mm.
Like during our resident camp, same thing also happened to me. They left me with the senior players like Chonyo Sele, Sebanak Roy, Simistora, Ben Butiki, Osesan Rao, and I've learned a lot from them during the resident camp. And come game time, I had no excuse. I was ready. On Thursday night, I was ready because of those kind of preparations, putting the seniors or the professional boys with the local boys. You'll really learn a lot from them.
Tikiko, we will be saying goodbye to Tikiko in this segment. We're getting you the man who controlled the match, the Battle of the Mbati, on Thursday night, Gyandra Prasad. He'll be joining us in the next segment. So, Tikiko, before I let you go, probably just a word to your fans, to your family, and to everyone who's tuned in on radio and who will be watching you on FBC TV. Going into the World Cup in 2013, what do we expect from the team? What do we expect from you as the new boy going into the World Cup?
Me, I'll be doing my best. I'll try and bring out the best in me. And I'll try to showcase what I have. And come game time, I'll be ready for the World Cup. And just letting the fan knows if they can pray for the team. And without God, we won't be reaching the finals. Or what we're trying to do is to reach the finals. And it's through God that we can do this. So thank you.
A lot of talk also on the spiritual side of things, Mesaki, in the Fiji team. It's known. We've seen that in 2008. Is it the same again this year?
Yes, it is a proven fact. It was done, and we proved that this was in 2013. It changed the lives of the likes of Jared Hayne, who was nearly shot in the Red Cross in Australia, and he joined the team right after that. Yes, the spiritual part is the stronghold for the team.
Well, it's always known that Pacific Island teams, especially Fiji, they have that bond, and we will be looking forward to that bond again come October 28th when we take on Ireland. Tikiko, thank you very much for joining us on the show. All the best in your World Cup campaign. We will be watching and we will be cheering you on from home. In the next segment, we got Mesaki, who will still be with us, and we will have the referee, Gyandra Prasad, joining us on the show. Bulvinak, and welcome to the last segment of Speak Your Mind. The topic today is, of course, Rugby League World Cup 2013. Our team has been selected, and we're all looking forward to game day. First game is against Ireland on the 28th of October. The second game is on the 2nd of November against Australia, and our final match is against England on the 9th of November. From there, we'll proceed to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. What say, Misaki? As promised, we have Gyandra Prasad, who controlled the match between the Battle of the Mbati on Thursday night. Gyandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And for those of you who still do not know, Gyandra has refereed in places like Australia and New Zealand. Tell us a bit about your background.
I'm from Lambasa. I was born in a small village.
Most important detail from Lambasa.
Exactly. I was born in a small village of Lambasa called Buni Yala Yala. Some people might know another small village next to us is Buni Dudui. So I was born there, went to primary school in Buni Dudui Sanatan Dharma School. Then I did my high school in Lambasa Sangam. And then I came to USP for 1 year. And over there I got a scholarship to go and study in Australia. So I was in Australia for 4 years. I did civil engineering. I came back and I got a job as a lecturer at FIT in School of Building and Civil, where I used to teach all the students who were doing diploma in architecture, quantity surveying, building, and civil. I was there for 5 years, and then I moved to New Zealand for further studies. I did 1 year studies over there. Then I moved across to Australia, and I've been working there for since 2001.
I hear a lot of studying and everything going on. Where did refereeing come into the picture?
Oh, very good question. That's one of the things they always ask me is, being an Indian, somebody from Indian background, how did I get involved in rugby league? And I've, as you know, any boy or girl who is born in Fiji knows about rugby and soccer. So yeah, when I went from here to Australia to study, that was the only two things I used to know. And but being rugby league being so similar to rugby union, I got involved into rugby league. I got hooked into rugby league. I was watching rugby league because you were a student. You had quite a bit of time during your studies or in the afternoons, in the weekends to watch heaps of rugby league games. I used to go to a few games over there. I started following Brisbane Broncos, and obviously Noah Nandruko was in Canberra Raiders, so I used to follow him. Yeah, so I used to go to a few games, and in 1 year at a uni I used to play too. Then when I finished the uni studies, I came to Fiji, and I was working in 1996, January 1996. There was an advertisement in the newspaper calling for people to, if they wanted to join up as a rugby league referee. Me being myself, I thought, yes, I've been in Australia for the last 4 years. I know most of the rules. That's what I thought. That yeah, I'll have a go. So I came up where they conducted the course. The first day we went there for the interview. First thing they did was put us through the exam. And funny enough, I got the highest mark. So, and therefore my interest even built further. And since that day, I've never looked back.
Tell us, he's known as Ghana amongst most of his friends and family. So I'm calling you Ghana. Ghana, how did you, what's your analysis of the game, the Battle of the Mbati on Thursday night?
Right, that was what I was expecting was a game that would parallel the game that usually you see on television in Fiji. The game that you see like Brisbane Broncos or Canberra Raiders or Melbourne or Manly play. That game was exactly similar, very, very similar to that game or those games. Right, it was brutal, it was hard, but it was fair. The boys gave everything. They did not take a backward step. People who were there at the game saw the tackles, saw the boys running at each other. But end of the day, they played fair. And that was one of the most amazing games I've seen in Fiji. It's one of the best games most people have experienced over here. The grand final was very, very similar, but this even topped it up. It was extremely, extremely good game.
Mesake, Ghana mentioned something very interesting there. He said it was a brutal game. There was a lot of physicality displayed on Thursday night. Would you agree?
Yes.
And would we expect this come 2013 World Cup?
I totally agree with Ghana. You see a lot of see a lot of injuries after the games and during the games, big hits. There were a lot of fireworks, and yes, this is what we'll expect. If this is just the trials, it's just the preview to the World Cup, and for the viewers, expect harder games during the World Cup.
I spoke to Rick Stone during halftime in that game, Battle of the Mbati, and he had mentioned that I asked him, what are some of the things that you're looking for in the players before you select them? And one of the things he mentioned was the physicality. There needed to be a degree of physicality amongst players, because you need that in rugby league. Do you think we have the physicality in the team that's been selected you saw on Thursday night?
Without doubt at all. The Fijian boys can match it with any other players from any other country. They are even better. If we have the right training, if these boys keep their discipline and they keep working at their fitness, we will match anybody up there. Okay? From my experience and from the 2008 World Cup experience, I was there when it happened. I went to the games. We should, if we, obviously the first game we're playing is against Ireland. And obviously from that pool, we got 3 teams selecting, so go to the next round. So obviously Australia and England, and hopefully we will be there. So, and I'm expecting we could go even further. We have the team and we have the boys to do it. And they are from the local boys that have been selected. And they've been training since last year. And that's why that game we saw on Thursday was such a beautiful game.
Well, Ghana, thank you very much. Mesake, thank you very much for coming on Speak Your Mind. All the best to rugby league preparations and all the best in your games against Ireland, Australia and England. That's Speak Your Mind for this week. And remember, on the 11th of October, we have the Vodafone Fiji Mbati team to the Rugby League World Cup in England next month. They're coming down. They'll be having a warm-up match against the Fiji residents. The venue is still yet to be confirmed, but stay tuned to Gold FM and FBC TV will keep you informed. Until next week, I'm Roland. Good afternoon.